Wow, good morning, everyone. Freezing cold, but to the point here, without wasting even one single minute. Recent visit by Putin to North Korea after 24 years, that's something o- of recent, and West was not expecting this. It has taken place. He decided to go with his cabinet to visit the North Korea regime. Nobody knows what his intention, but as we stated and said earlier, the more West is giving Ukraine harsh equipment and weapons of war to strike deeper into Russian territory, the more dangerous it is getting to. And we can see it spiraling to continental war. Now, it's not war only for Europe, America, and Russia and Ukraine. It is now going to Indo-Pacific, the Pacific region. And when it goes to Pacific region, all this is strategized to counterbalance the harsh Western sanctions kept on being imposed to Russia by the homogenic, capitalistic, imperialistic, Western oppressive, territorial, globalist, agendalist, whatever you call them. Putin visits to North Korea. Kim Jong was actually waiting for that moment, and the moment came, and Putin, his agenda was very clear: military alliance, binding territorial treaties, and accelerated growth, and shoulder to shoulder walk through this Cold War. For so many years, America has been speculating about invading North Korea to disarm it because North Korea has capability of ICBM technologies, intercontinental ballistic missile system, and North Korea is having a vision of having a satellite orbit in space, and that technology is in the hands of Russians, and Americans don't want North Korea to have the ability of creating and designing orbit satellite because they will have what you call universal dominancy surveillance. They'll be able to map out the entire region of America and know exactly where, in case of anything, to target. This worried the White House extremely, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and ever confused Secretary of State Antony Blinken running from one state to another. They have completely missed the point here. The more they press the button with the NATO against Russia, the more Russia is entrenching itself in the east and in Caribbean. Recently, we know the story about the submarine standoff between America and Russians in Cuban waters. For how long are we going to experience this? These are the preliminary proxy intimidations that are taking place. And Putin's agenda in North Korea, they're very strategic because they share the border. And what's going to happen is to accelerate growth, accelerate trade, accelerate cooperation. Military, alliances are going to be created in Southern Asia and Eastern Asia. And Kim Jong is very much straightforward. And he held Putin in a diplomatic profession. And when you see Putin moving to a country, he knows he's not risking his moves. His security is guaranteed and his business are guaranteed. And West must learn from these mistakes they are making. Right now, the people who are at war are Russians and Americans. All these other are proxies and watching. Whichever side which wins or fails, that's where we're going to join. The recent Petersburg Economic Forum Summit was attended by more than 122 countries worldwide. Why are they going there and Russia is under heavy sanctions? It's simply because they will trade and do much more better with Russians than with Americans, which is a good indication of the future to come. Putin going to North Korea created what we call anxiety in the entire region. But he has the right to go. You have to choose your foes or the people who cannot backstab you. Right now, to remove Putin from power, it's gonna take time because Belarusians, the Chechens, and these other alliances he has created with North Korea will hold him shoulder to shoulder. So, multipolar world has already been created and the West needs to take note. Instead of buying time to keep on pushing war in Ukraine and expecting less in return because Zelensky is not going to win war with borrowed arms. He has to manufacture and produce arms in order for him to cut down the cost of war. Because now he's owing Americans and he's owing other European countries. And remember, Ukraine is sitting on a $12 trillion worth of minerals. So if you do the maths, you can see why the war is there. Americans, they said, they will not let it go. We are just 2 months away from the full-blown Third World War, and all what is happening right now is organizing the allies, and that is the card on the table for Putin right now. The people who can stand with him in times of the war, and where to establish hypersonic, launchers and logistics and ICBM hosts, and there are many things that he's currently trying to organize. And one thing, he's not borrowing ammunitions, and he has the capacity to produce them, and at the same time he produces energy, which is essential when you're funding or having war going on. All these resources are locally mobilized, and in case he is mobilizing external resources, then definitely it's something to do with the drones, technologies, and maybe reinforcement on shells, projectiles, which are actually not much. And that visit to North Korea means a lot, and it will play a very big role in geopolitical position, and it will actually prove who is who. And this worries White House, and it's not that they cannot have diplomacy on the table. They can, but how can they have it if they are not willing to accept the package on the table from the Russia, which is, let me take Kharkiv and Odessa and the rest. Then we have a buffer zone, and then non-NATO application for Ukraine or European membership cancelled. You saw what happened in Georgia recently? This is exactly on the table. Warsaw Pact in Poland many years ago signed. Russia has been loyal to that, but Western nations, they failed to be loyal to that. That is why you see what is going on, and it's not going to be fruitful. If checkmates are at odd, then the boat suffers. So we, the Southern Globe Economic Bloc, we are not at war with anyone. What we need is fair leverage of utilizing the global resources at nobody's cost, but for our well-being as global community. We need to protect the planet Earth. Today, if that war breaks out in regards to nuclear, submarines, ICBMs, and all whatever it takes to coordinate this war, definitely nobody wins in nuclear war. That means we are all going to lose. And that is something we need to put into account before even we go further. Anyway, hide your pride. Comment there below. Follow me and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day, guys. That was my morning gem. Great day.